and welcome to ReedPop's Metaverse event, where we're breaking the fourth wall to bring convention entertainment to the comfort of your home. I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics, and it is my extreme pleasure to bring to you untold tales and dream projects. We have with us today two of comics' most talented writers. Like, they are phenomenal. I am a huge fan. I'm trying not to geek out. It's not working, but I'm trying. Make some noise for it, Miss Marguerite Bennett and Tom King. Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys doing today?
Very good. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, absolutely. How is 2020 treating you guys? Obviously, this is the weirdest year ever. It's like a horrible comic book unto itself. Are you guys maintaining safety and sanity in all this?
The darkest timeline, but we're doing okay.
Oh, man. Truer words never spoken. Oh my goodness. But we are going to kind of explore some geeky things today and really kind of let loose our creative energies and see if that doesn't kind of bring some smiles back to us. You guys have phenomenal writing talents under your belt already. I mean, what can you tell anyone is your tip-top favorite thing that you've worked on to date so far?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that's right. I'm putting you all on the spot.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's right. That's what we're here for. The hard, grueling questions. Marguerite, we'll start with you since you're sipping soda right now. I figure that's the perfect time to ask you.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
I know that I'm more known for like Bombshells and Batwoman, InSeXts and Power Rangers, and I tend to jump around between companies and multiverse.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Animosity was an absolute favorite of mine. Obviously, your Power Rangers stuff, fantastic. Pretty much anything from Aftershock actually is kind of my thing, but that's just me. Tom, what about you?
I don't know if I have a favorite series ever. I mean, some of them like highlights, like I loved Vision, I loved Mr. Miracle, but I mean, I have favorite like issues. Whereas like this is going way back, but Sheriff of Babylon 5, I really loved. I did this issue where it was just two people, such a me issue, but it was just it was two people from different worlds talking for an issue, and I was like, when I completed that, I was like, yeah, I finally. One of those days, I was like, okay, I wrote something good. Yeah, so maybe Sheriff of Babylon 5 with Mitch Garrett's in the art. That was probably.
We're not going to call that a pun, are we? Is that a pun? Babylon 5, different planets. Like,
that's true. Sheriff of Babylon.
Okay,
that's what it was. Yeah, it was trying to get at that. Yeah, that's
well
why. Exactly.
Played.
Yeah, and then there's Batman Deep Space Nine, and it was we did a lot of those things.
Is that coming up? Is that the one?
Coming up. It's coming up.
Bat and Cat. Yes.
Yeah. But my favorite thing was Rorschach, this thing I've got coming up. I love it.
Oh, nice.
I think it's the best thing I ever wrote. So
snap. That's heavy praise, sir.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. All right. I have to admit, I'm very excited for it myself. Obviously, with the whole Watchmen series, getting this big resurgence in different forms of media, that's been huge. Are you guys watching or reading anything special right now?
I'm going through every horror movie the internet can provide. That's about it.
I love it. What about you, Tom?
So this is so I do these things where I try to learn a genre, like what makes a genre tick. So for like 2 years I did film noir. So I was reading all these old detective novels. I was watching all these old detective movies, and this year during the quarantine I've been reading a lot of romance. I'm trying to get into that genre and sort of master that, and watching a lot of romantic movies. And I'm just trying to experience something I haven't gotten outside my comfort zone, so I can bring sort of that kind of genre, which I think is underrated, into comics and into what I do. So yeah, so I'm doing a lot of that kind of stuff.
That's fantastic. If you need a rom-com buddy, I'm your guy.
Good. We'll get into it.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into what this panel is all about, which is really kind of like the things that you would love to do, your dream projects, and making you guys fans all over again, more so than writers, I guess. So let's talk about this. What is your favorite superhero team, if you have one? Well, who is your penultimate? Is it JSA? Is it Justice League? You can admit if it's Youngblood. I'm not going to tease you at all. I refuse. That's not the way we do things around here. Who is your favorite team?
Yeah, it's the Great Lake Avengers, man. I love that flat man.
Yes.
I don't have a particular team. I love to I would probably just go around and cherry pick people, and I love particular relationships. Like I've got this Zatanna Constantine story I wanted to do for ages and ages, and so I'm hoping if there's an Earth 50 something that I can land this story on. So
I love it. What about you, Tom?
It would be, I mean, when I was a kid, like the thing I loved the most, this is really a dorky answer, but I loved Power Pack. I just love that team.
That's not dorky.
I got every issue. I like their powers. I love that Louise Simonson writing, that June Brigman art. And yeah, I mean, they're all like these, yeah, so I would love to, yeah, fanboy out on some Power Pack. I was supposed to write them at one point, and I went to DC instead of Marvel. I was like, oh man, I wish I could have done that project.
Well, I mean, it's not like the door is 100% closed on you, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but you are Tom King. I'm gonna just throw that out there. Maybe somebody's told you, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so based off.
No, wait, Tom King wears a hat. He's not a bald guy. I've seen that guy.
That's the cosplay Tom King. That's different.
Oh, that's
totally
different.
Tom.
Yeah. It's the other side of the
exactly
multiverse.
Now, Marguerite, considering that your story concept is Constantine and Zatanna, is that more of a Justice League Dark aim or just them as a pair?
Honestly, the story that I've danced around, but I've never found like the time or the right artist or the right time at DC is that it's Zatanna and Constantine as like the Nick and Nora of like the DC supernatural universe, like this big alternate universe,
cool.
Sort of like transition from the 20s to the Great Depression, and the things that they did while they were living the high life, drunk out of their sugar minds, and those consequences coming home to roost. And so that was probably like the big. I mean, it's only a 2-person team, but it would be like Zatanna, Constantine, their little monster dog, and so that's 3 people. That's a team.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tom, for you in Power Pack, are you keeping the family unit the same, or are you switching up? Does anybody else get to join the team? Do we lose a Power Pack member and they get another one? Where are we going with this?
No, I'm a big fan of small teams and what you can do with them, like the Challenges of the Unknown, Fantastic Four. I like the idea of just 4 people. I've never really written a team book. I wrote Omega Men.
Right.
And that was it. But besides that, I've always sort of focused on one character at a time. So to me, it seems, I don't think I could Jonathan Hickman it up with like lots of maps and 30 people on and 52 different worlds. I think my brain would explode. So I like the idea of focusing on just a very small group, and they're I mean, look, we're all stuck inside with our families right now. I'm personally, I got 3 kids, a wife, and a dog. And there's enough drama between just 5. I can't. that's enough for. So
that's your team book right there.
Yeah, my team right there.
All right. So obviously you've written so many different characters between the 2 of you. Who's left on your wish list? Who's your bucket list favorites besides the key stories that you just talked about?
I would love to do a Mystique Rogue mother-daughter road trip book.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm not sure if I'm for that, but I would love just to with all their baggage to be like, you know what? We're friggin' talking about it. Get your suitcase in the car. We're going.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, number one, where would they go? What's the map here? Are we going from Winchester to ? Or is it just they're just driving?
I mean, it's the kind of thing where, if I were to actually take this project seriously, I would have to grow the goldfish to the size of the bowl. And so it would depend a lot on the canon, or, is this permitted to be out of canon? And it's
gotcha.
Again, I love alternate universes. Bombshells taught me that is the way to your own playground. So if I did something of that nature, it would be like the greatest hits, and we have to go to the Savage Lands at some point.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It was, I also feel like there is room to stop at Sephora. And so stuff like that.
Oh my God, I can see it now. Like they stop at Sephora and Rogue starts picking out things, and Mystique is like, I'm not buying this. And she's like, no, I think this color would look great. And he's like, I'm not buying it. I can just do that. What do you mean? Like,
so it's like, I can't do that. I'm your daughter. Respect my needs.
Show me how to do makeup. You're like, you just do it. No.
No, yeah, she never had to.
I'm a fan of blues.
Like that. I would love, to just
do a
mother-daughter road trip book with those 2. That would be
Does Curt get to show up at all? Does he get to kind of, bamf in and kind of?
I would like to keep the focus on them, but I feel like you could sort of ping pong off of other characters on your way down Route 66.
Oh my God, that would be, and then they stop and they visit Graydon Creed, if you get to, put that out there, and the kid that nobody talks about. I would love that. Tom, what about you? Wish list style. What you got?
I mean, there's stuff I want to do to just impress my kids. Like My youngest son, for some reason, he loves Ice and Fire from the old Justice League. I don't know if you even remember them.
What do you mean for some reason? There is all the reason. Come on.
He digs that pair. Man, you asked him his favorite super. He's like, Ice. I'm into Ice. I was like, all right. So I just to write them just so I could sit at the dinner table and be like, what day did he wrote Ice? Oh my, like free. Oh. He doesn't. Batman, Spider-Man. He doesn't care. You wrote Ice. You're the man. So yeah, I'd love to do that. And then there's like some like, I'd love to do like a stint at IDW and just work on some of the properties. Like to do some Star Trek. I was a big Star Trek nerd growing up. To do Captain Kirk and Picard and all that awesome stuff. I'd love to do any of that stuff, or like Indiana Jones. And, I'd like to do just having fun with some of the properties, just like all the games you used to play in the playground when you were a kid, making those come to life.
Of course,
just blow my mind.
I love that. Okay, so just to be controversial, who is your captain?
Who is my captain? Oh, yeah. Kirk is my captain.
Okay, no, I respect it.
But I got these are my 3 captains. I have them up here. I got toys.
Okay.
I got Kirk, I got Picard, and I got Cisco. Those are my
buddy. I respect it all. I love it.
I had to get that. I know Cisco's in the alternate version, but that's because he's got the goatee. Because you need Cisco's gets his power from his goatee.
100%.
The real, the toy in the red doesn't have the beard. Those are my 3 boys.
Marguerite, do you like Star Trek? Are you a Star Trek fan?
Yeah, my dad raised me on Star Trek.
So who is your captain?
Picard.
Okay, all right. And now you have to fight. That's amazing. It is so funny how that becomes such a talking point, much in the same way of who is better, Marvel, DC, which super team. In terms of your careers, how often do you get to explore those ideas that you've always grown up wanting to express? I really love this person more than anybody else. How often do you get to do that?
I mean, with great frequency. Like I cut my teeth on fan fiction, honestly, and like I still have like the giant 3-ring notebook just like stuffed full of my giant X-Men epic.
So, I love it.
But they're like certain things, like the really good lines have already been mined over the years. There weren't that many. But like there's, that's where I learned to love, those characters, and learned to read other people's work and understand characterization, and then infuse it, with something that you felt only you could bring to the table. And so, like, I don't, obviously it's not the same thing in fan fiction. The sky's the limit. There's no licensing. There's no editorial. There's no, you only have 20 pages a month, and it needs to be something a human being can draw. But it was time well spent, and it made me very happy.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so getting into the process of things, obviously we're all writers here. This is what we do. What is your process for writing? How do you germinate stories, put them down on the page, and then pass them along? Do you have a special method that you use, or is it just kind of hammering out things as wildly as possible?
It's gotta be wild, right? So I write a script a week, basically, almost 52 weeks. That's not right. I mean, there's got to be vacation at some point. I do have to see that kids and the dog. But and the way it works is over on Friday, I literally write my editor is like, what's next? And he tells me Friday night, he's like, you need this script next. And over the weekend, I bake the ideas in my head while I'm driving, while I'm taking a shower, while I'm doing anything, until I start to get scenes in my head, like where I want it to end, where, I have a general plot when I'm in this series of where I want to go, basically where I want to end, where I want to start. Then on Monday, I try to write 5 pages. Doesn't matter if they're good, bad, whatever, 5 pages. And then Tuesday through Thursday, I try to finish it by Thursday night. Whatever happens, I don't care if the world ends, that script is done Thursday night. If I have to be up till 5 a.m, it's done. And then Friday, I review it and send it in Friday afternoon. That's what I do week after week.
That's consistent. I love that dedication.
It's a formula.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's real. Marguerite, how about you?
I don't have anything of that nature. It was really, my rule was just that I had to write, a certain amount per day. And that sort of transitioned into like, my butt needs to be in the seat for a certain number of hours per day now that we're in quarantine. Because I don't know about y'all, but writing takes a lot longer for me right now.
I can understand that.
It's like pulling teeth. And, but it used to be, and this is even from when I was a child, it was like I had to hit like the quota a day. And then the rest of it, all the first draft has to do to be successful is exist. And the rest is what editing is for. And so that's normally just like, I have to do, about 2,500 words a day. and or a set number of pages if I'm working on comics. And yeah, that's really it. And like but weekends are included in that. It might be something like softer, like only 1,500 words, on Sunday.
Gotcha.
The Lord's Day.
That's right. He didn't work that day, so I'm not gonna kind of work that day. I got you.
Exactly.
That's amazing. What's your interaction with the artist side that you're working with? Is it constant updates? Is it just kind of you do your thing and then you pass it on and they do their thing? What's that like in the more mainstream market?
For me, it just starts with like, I need to get on Skype with my artist as soon as possible and be like, what can I do to make your life better? Like, what do you want from me? What do you never want to see from me? How many panels per page are you comfortable with? How much dialogue? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do horses, cars, hands, spiral staircases for Mike Norton.
Oh man.
And, what can I do, just to write to your strengths, and where can I compensate, and just try and be honest about my own weaknesses. Like, I'm not great at this. I'm not great at fight scenes. Do you want me to block those for you, or would you prefer, take that, yourself and, make the visuals crazy and I'll layer over dialogue after the fact, if at all. And so it was really just communication. And then after that, like, I don't know, I just try to be like, the passive partner in the dance. Like, you steer and I'll be along for the ride after that conversation has been had. So
respect that. Tom?
I mean, throughout my career, I've run the gauntlet from all the extremes. Omega Men, a book I love, I did it with Barnaby Bagenda, and I've never in my life spoken to Barnaby to this day. We've never emailed each other. But Barnaby lives in Indonesia. He's a brilliant, gifted artist, and he had an agent at the time who was sort of one of those kind of agents who insisted that everything go through him.
Gotcha.
So, like, we didn't even see each other. I just saw the pages, and if the agent would tell me something, I'd talk to the agent. So we did a whole series that I've never met him in person. I don't think I could pick him out of a lineup. So that's one total extreme. And hey, Barnaby can draw everything, and he's a wonderfully kind person. And then there's, I work with Mitch Gerrits, and he's one of my best friends. I'm the godfather to his child, and I work now with him, Doc, and Clay. And we have a running commentary that goes all day long, 24 hours a day. And we're just as close as anything could be, where I'll be like, I'm working on this panel. Do you want to draw, do you want this to be underwater or above water? Oh, underwater. I don't want to draw. Yeah. So like, where it's just like, we're close, super closely connected. And I've also worked with some of the old school guys. Like I did a thing with Walt Simonson. I've done a thing with JR.
That's awesome.
Where those guys, you send them a script and they're used to Marvel style, and you're like, hey, this is a script, but you just do your thing. And
right.
they just take all and they just throw at everything you just did, just tell the story, and then you get it back and you're like, all right, I'm Stan Lee. I just got some pages from Kirby. I got to figure out what this is. So yeah, I've done most of them.
That's amazing. I love that. Now, behind the scenes, writers wise, do you guys talk to other writers often, just to germinate ideas or to, talk shop at all? Is there like a secret writer's room that other creators get into like that?
I don't know about an official room where it happens, but
I'm just kidding.
Oh, sorry.
I want to be in the. I'm sorry.
That's how you know I'm not in it, because I'm not invited. So so many of my friends, are writers or work in the industry or work in a creative industry. And so every day that I'm talking to my friends, if we get around to work, it tends to turn into that. People bounce ideas off of each other, and, you form these friendships, and a rising tide raises all ships. And so, if there's ever an opening, like, the people that you've been workshopping your stuff with are the people that you can bring in. Well said.
Well said. Tom, I'm sure you do the same. Right? Hopefully.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of, I'm not, there are like, I don't go to some weird chat room where all the writers gather. I don't know if that's out there. Nobody told me about it. Yeah, I talk to people. Some of them are just like my friends, like Josh Williamson and I are close, and we talk about sort of everything. But mostly it ends up being like shop talk. Like, what did this editor say? What did it's like how much, when's your contract up? What's your, it's not story talk. It's boring. How are you going to get paid talk?
That stuff's important. Those are things that we don't get in school. So
yeah,
I 100% get that. Absolutely. Before we get out of here, I got to know if there was anything that you could write where you had carte blanche, no editor input, no adherence to continuity beforehand, what would it be?
I would do an erotically tinged mini-series with Chris Anka about the adventures of Emma Frost.
I need that in my life. Not now, but right now. Oh my God.
That is my tiptoeing the line of M for mature pitch. Marvel will not call me.
Listen, on a creator-owned set, I'm fairly certain we could tweak just enough, that we can, yeah. Irma Frist can now exist and yes, please, and thank you. Tom, what about you?
I'm going to go the opposite direction. That's a wonderful answer. For some reason, through the vicissitudes of fates, my two grandmothers, who are two very different people, one's from an urban Jewish environment, one's from a very rural Protestant environment. I inherited both of their diaries they wrote when they were 16 years old.
Wow.
And from the war years, like the late 30s, early 40s. And I have them, and I so want to turn them into one comic book that's just like, I just want to turn their diaries into comics of these two very diverse women who somehow created me. And I keep pitching this to artists, and they're like, motherfucker, I want to do, mother fudger, I want to do superheroes, and I want to do space battles. You're Tom King, let's do that. I was like, no, a quiet thing about two grandmas. They're like, no, that's never going to happen.
Two grandmothers in their teens, man. I'm telling you, it's Eisner Award winning.
I'm telling you, man. They'll be on a farm. They'll be in a building.
Listen, I've already sold the movie rights. You should be here for this. I get it.
Yeah, so.
No, but that story is beautiful.
Less awkward and horny now.
Right. Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. And because we haven't read the diaries and we don't know where that's going. We'll keep that. We'll save that for the page for when you put that out there. One time before we get out of here, is there anything that you want to say to your fans that are watching? Marguerite, we'll start with you. If there's something that you want to leave them with.
Sure. Thank you for forgiving me for my descent into madness on this Zoom call. Thank you for reading, and it means the world. And, I hope that I get to see y'all once, the world restarts and everything, reopens. Once it's safe, down the line, no rush.
Yes, indeed. Tom?
I want to say thank you, and I just want to say you're all going through something really hard right now, but a lot of comic book creators know that, and we're trying to create content to help you through it, and we appreciate you, and we're gonna get through this together. It's all that sort of sentimental BS, but yeah, we're all in this together, man. This is a thing we have to survive together, and we're gonna
Absolutely. Oh man, said with no animosity. 2020 is Marguerite, Tom. Thank you guys for joining us, sharing your time, your talent, your experience. I'd also like to thank ReedPop for bringing this all together. I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics, saying thank you to all the fans watching. You guys are amazing. One time for you. Thank you.